Hey everybody, RetroPie guy here. Today I'm going to show you guys around my 512GB build for the PowKiddy RGB10 Max, and this also works on the RGB10 Max 2, which I have right here. So this particular build has over 16,000 retro video games on it, so let's dive in and take a full tour. Alright, so I've just booted up my PowKiddy RGB10 Max 2 handheld video game console with my 512GB image already slid into the microSD card slot right up here. So I've just powered this on. And I do want to mention before we get started here, I do have background music installed on here as well. So I'm just going to up the volume here real quick. So there you can see the background music does play. And if we were to jump into a collection, I'm currently highlighted on links right here. But I'll actually go back to where we started, which is Amiga. If we just jump into the actual collection here, you're going to see that we have video previews that load in for each title, and the audio will bring up the audio for these video previews here as well. So a little bit hard to hear it there, but the audio does populate in there for each of these video previews. But here we've just jumped into Amiga, so you can see all of our games are going to be listed on the right hand side here, and then we also have a description of the titles, some additional information over here in the bottom left corner, and then of course our video preview right up there in the top left corner. So I'm going to back out of the Amiga collection, but we have 1,587 games for Amiga in here. And then if we navigate over towards the right, you can go left or right, but we're going to go right here for the remainder of this tour. I'm just going to lower the volume here, and then I hit the shoulder button. So just going to go back to Amiga CD where we have 137 games, and we'll jump in here. You can see that we have this magazine madness theme throughout, so everything is going to differ collection to collection in terms of the way that everything's laid out with the different background images and whatnot. So here again, very much the same sort of setup though, where we have our text list on the right, information down here, and then of course our video preview up there in the top left corner. So we're going to back out again. So here we have Amstrad CPC with 114 games on here. We'll take a quick look in here. You can see really nice, unique sort of background image there. And then again, same sort of layout for each of these. It'll load in the video preview that populates over here. So really nicely put together. Moving on, we have Atari 2600, 630 games. Take a quick little glimpse in here, how that looks. Atari 5200 with 96 games. Atari 7800 with 58 games. And then we have a Thomas Wave 9 games. We have ColecoVision 141 games. We have Commodore 64 games. And we have Intellivision here 136 games. Atari Lynx 83 games. And MAME with 2,445 games. So this is going to be all of your arcade classics. A lot of great stuff to be found in here. One of my personal favorite collections. MSX 642 games. MSX2 with 100 games. Neo Geo 140 games. Here we have Neo Geo Pocket with 9 games. Neo Geo Pocket Color with 40 games. N64, another one of my favorite collections, 302 N64 games on here. And I'll jump around here a little bit just so we can see some of the amazing games that are on here. So we have some WWF No Mercy here, and again, You will have audio for the video previews here. I've just gone ahead and lowered the volume just so I'm not having to talk over all of that audio. Let's jump up here and let's find like a Mario Kart 64 just to see how that actually looks on here. So here's Mario Kart 64. Loads in there really nicely, really sharp the way that this is laid out, and I also love that graphic on the background there with the N64 controllers. Moving on, 252 games for Nintendo DS. Nintendo Entertainment System, 784 games. A lot of great stuff in here. Great skateboarding game right there. N64 hacks, 691 hacks. So these are going to be custom games that were custom created. So with this, you're going to have your text list there. You're not going to get a description for these, but you'll still get the additional information. And then, of course, your video preview up there as well, which is a nice feature to have. Don't typically get that with hacks. Family computer right here from Famicom, 386 games. Famicom Disk System, 128 games. Really cool background there as well. Game Boy, the original Game Boy, 557 games. Game Boy Color, 572 games. Nice Pokemon theme on the cover there. Game Boy Advance right here, 1,080 games. Kind of jump around a little bit. Really nice preview there as well. And then Nintendo Game & Watch. These are going to be your classic Game & Watch games. Really love the way that these actually populate into emulation platforms. Here we have Super Nintendo, 979 games for Super Nintendo. Nice controller background there too. You also have the logo of the titles populating in right there. Here we have Super Nintendo hacks, 51 games right here. Very similar to that of the Nintendo Entertainment System ones. So again, you're not going to have the description for these because they are custom created, but we are going to get a little preview over here in the top left corner. Here we have Super Nintendo CD, 25 games. Here we have Super Famicom, 509 games. Virtual Boy, 25 games. Odyssey 2, 85 games. Open Beats of Rage, 56 games. So these are kind of custom created beat 'em up style games. Love this collection. One of my personal favorites. Really cool that we're able to get all of this scraped data as well. So we have the video previews, which is awesome. A lot of really cool custom games in here. I highly recommend this collection. Just so many great finds that really aren't super well known in here. PC Engine, 290 games. One of my favorite games right there, Afterburner 2. Super Graphics, 35 games. And that's Super Graphics CD actually. So here's regular Super Graphics here, 5 games. Here we have Turbo Graphics with 94 games. Here we have TurboGrafx CD, 40 games. We have our ports in here, so you can go ahead and add ports or take advantage of what's actually preloaded on here. So we have some Doom ports in here, and we do get populated data in here as well. Love the background image here as well. We'll back out. ScumVM, 86 games. A lot of great stuff for ScumVM. One of my personal favorites is Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, but there's tons of great stuff. There's let's see, what do we have in here? We have, I think there's some Leisure Suit Larry in here. There's the Indiana Jones that I was talking about. King's Quest, there's a bunch of those in here. There's Leisure Suit Larry. What else do we have? Monkey Island's in here. A lot of great stuff. So we'll back out of this collection and continue on. Sega 32X, 32 games in here. Sega CD, 123 games. Another one of my favorites is, of course, Sega Dreamcast with 123 games, which is a massive collection for Dreamcast. And we'll take a quick look at, let's go into Capcom versus SNK. Great game there. We'll take a look at Crazy Taxi. And another one of my favorites, Dynamite Cop. Alright, we'll back out. Game Gear, 259 games. Love Game Gear. So many great options in there. There's Aladdin for Game Gear. It's a great game that you could play on a bunch of different platforms. Sega Genesis, 807 games. And then we have Sega Genesis Hacks, 209 games for that collection. Very similar to the Nintendo Entertainment System, as well as the Super Nintendo Hacks collections. Here you can see exactly the same as over there. No description, but we still have the preview up there, information in the bottom left corner, and then of course our text list on the right hand side. So we'll back out. Here we have Sega Master System, 277 games. A lot of great titles to be found in here. You're going to find your original Sonics in this collection. So we'll jump over to Sonic. Here is Sonic the Hedgehog, the original. Here we have Mega Drive, so we'll jump in here, and that was 191 games for Mega Drive. So we'll take a look at Aladdin over here. Very similar to what we saw previously for Game Gear. And here we have Naomi with 32 games. A lot of great titles in this collection as well. Sega SG-1000, 68 games. PlayStation, 472 games, which is a massive collection. I love the PlayStation collections on here. So you can see we have some 007, we have some, what else do we have here? Area 51, which was great. Light gun game. Oops, I went back too far. So here's Area 51. Very similar to that of the arcade version, of course. Here we have our PSP games, 133 of those. You always want to be careful with PSP though. That's where the performance kind of maxes out with this handheld, so you will get some titles that don't run 100% on this particular handheld, just because again, you're going to be pushing it a little bit too far in some cases, but that's the case with PSP on pretty much all emulation platforms, and especially handhelds. So we'll back out. PSP Minis, 200 games over here. Vectrex, 24 games. WonderSwan, 110 games. WonderSwan Color, 89 games. Sharp 68,000 over here with 242 games. Here we have our options, so we can go in here and make some adjustments and settings changes. Over here we have some custom collections now, so I'm not going to jump into all of these. I'll jump into the first couple. This is all Atari Classics, so these are custom collections. These are games you're going to find in the previous collections that we've already explored, but this is a nice, convenient way to dive into specific types of games. So here we have Atari Classics. If we jump in here, you're going to have an Atari background, and then all of your Atari Classic games are going to be found in here. So it's just an easier way to access everything. Over here we have Batman Collection. So 40 titles here of just pure Batman. And I'll take a quick little look in here. Nice Batman background there. And then of course you can see from the list all your Batman titles, but it also will show you in parentheses after each title what system it belongs to. So if you're not familiar, because there's going to be some games that are on multiple platforms, so you can go ahead and take a look at which version they are in parentheses after the title name. Capcom Classics here, really cool Predator and Alien background there, 79 games for Capcom Classics. We'll take a look in here as well. Nicely put together. Here we have our Castlevania collection. We have Cave over here with 9 games. We have Capcom. We're going to have Capcom 1, 2, and 3 all found in here. Data East with 58 games. A Disney-specific collection here with 119 games. This is going to be all Disney games. So if we take a look in here, nice Magic Kingdom background there with the castle. And then obviously you can go through and take a look at all of your Disney titles found in this one custom collection. Over here we have Donkey Kong games, 42 Donkey Kong games here. You're going to have your original all the way up through the N64 release. Double Dragon, 43 games for Double Dragon. Final Fantasy with 60 games. Ghouls and Ghosts with 4 games. And then we're going to have some additional collections over here. Konami Classics, where you're going to find Simpsons, Mario games, 292 Mario games, which is awesome. Mega Man, Metal Slug, Midway Classics, where you're going to find, obviously as the image there suggests, some Mortal Kombat titles, but you're also going to find like your NBA Jams in here. Just all of your classic Midway games. And that one right there is Open Ice 2-on-2, which is one of my favorite games as well. It's like a hockey version of NBA Jam, so a lot of great stuff to explore in here. Mortal Kombat specific collection, 52 Mortal Kombat titles. Namco Classics here with 98 games. And then we have some Nintendo Classics here. So this is Nintendo Entertainment System, 30 games there. Here's your Nintendo Classics with 23 games. We have a Pac-Man collection right here. We have some Sega Classics with 121 games. Just really a lot of great stuff in here. Simpsons, Super Nintendo Classics, SNK Classics, all of our Sonic titles in here, 183 Sonic games. For your Star Wars fans, 38 Star Wars titles in here. We'll take a look at that. Really nicely put together. I love the way the magazine theme welcomes the Star Wars titles in that way. All types of great stuff in here, which is really cool. I'm a big Star Wars fan myself. Street Fighter collection, 51 Street Fighter games, all listed in here nicely. Again, more and more classics in here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles here, Williams Classics, Zelda, 35 Zelda games, and then we also have collections over here. So if we jump into this, you're going to find a lot of subcategories. So here we have a text list on the right where you can find 4-player games, PlayStation Classics, Neo Geo arcade classics, just a ton of custom collections in here. So if you're kind of stumbling through this and you want to explore some stuff that maybe you would struggle to find otherwise, you can go in here and jump through these custom lists, and it's just a really great tool for exploring stuff that you wouldn't ordinarily find on your own. So love going through here when I have free time and just finding new stuff. We have all these great collections in here. Just the list goes on and on. Yoshi titles, Terminator titles. We jumped into Terminator. It's just going to give you a list of all of those. Now you're not going to have custom backgrounds for each of these, but nonetheless, still a really nicely laid out custom collection with tons of subcategories. And then here we have our all games list. So you can see up here at the top, 16,932 games total on this build. If we jump in here, it's just going to give us everything in alphabetical order, and it will tell you in parentheses what collection each title belongs to. Nice little feature here is if we hit our select button, we can go to this jump to letter. So let's say we want to look up an S title, as opposed to going through and just holding the down button all the way till S, which would take you probably, with a massive collection like this, like 40 minutes. We just go over to the S, highlight it, hit A, and it's going to jump us right into our S titles. So it saves a ton of time, which is awesome. I'm going to back out. Last collection, or actually second to last collection, is favorites. So you can go ahead and add titles to your favorites list on here. You can fully customize this. Just makes it a little bit easier to access those titles that you enjoy jumping into. And then here we have last played. So it's going to pull 50 games that you've played recently and just populate them into this custom collection. So if you're jumping into Sonic the Hedgehog 2, for example, and you wanted to take a break for the day or come back to it the next day, you would be able to boot up. You're going to come to Amiga here because it goes in alphabetical order. All you have to do is hit your D-pad left or your analog stick left, go into last played, and your last title that you jumped into will be populated in right up at the top. And if you want to access, again, up to 50 of your last titles, they'll all populate in here in order. So it's really a convenient way to access everything. So we'll back out here. This is exactly where we started with the Amiga collection. So that is the entire tour of this 512 gigabyte tour for the PowKiddy RGB10 Max and Max 2. So this build works on both the original Max as well as the Max 2 handheld video game console.